Here is a statistic that surprised me. Depending on the industry, mandatory training can account for more than half of all formal training an organization delivers. If we are spending that much time on compliance, well, shouldn't we make sure that people are actually learning something? Today, Chuck and I are going to be talking about why mandatory training deserves more attention than it gets. Let's start, first of all, by saying, what is mandatory training?
Mandated training. A lot of people don't think about this, and I didn't think much about it till I got really deep into instructional design and figured out that a lot of what I was doing was mandated training. So there's a couple ways to look at it. One is you can say mandated is when a student has no choice about taking a course. The second way to look at mandated is this idea that some regulation, federal, state, local, or whatever, requires this of a certain workforce, and therefore they have no choice about taking it. The organization has no choice about offering it.
How many types of mandatory or mandated training are there?
Well, I think there's a lot. And the two I just mentioned, I think, are the ones that I have the most experience with. This notion of, okay, well, the student has no choice about it. I see it in business, I see it in apprenticeship, I see it in a lot of places. But where it's more subtle is in higher education and education in general. Because if you think about it, if you've ever taken a college course or gotten a degree, community college, whatever, how many courses did you have any choice about taking? Somebody decided what that program was about. And you had courses, they might call them required or something else, but you had no choice about taking them. So you've got the higher education side, the education side, and then on the other side of it is things that are by regulation mandated. So if you think about it, HIPAA, OSHA, lots of other federal laws, state laws, mandate training for work groups. And from my experience, those are the two biggest types.
Yeah. What areas use it the most?
Gosh, I mean, it's across the board. I'd say generally half of what we do is mandated. But if you look at an area like healthcare, 80-90% of that is mandated training. If you think about it, I mean, I just designed mandated training for a healthcare organization. And it's amazing what's required from across so many different areas. So not only is it HIPAA, which is medical privacy essentially, but there's also things about how you do certain things internally and how you file information and how you do reports. And it's just amazing how much that's going on. And as you go down the list of different types, I think the second biggest one is probably financial. Because think about all the financial regulations that are involved. So you want to be a stockbroker, or you want to work in a bank, or you want to do any of these things. This is so highly regulated, and their expectations on you being trained and certified in things there's just no option on it. So as you go from healthcare on down, you're going to find different percentages. But healthcare, I think, obviously is the biggest one.
So, Chuck, how much of formal training hours does it consume?
Well, we're going to put up a list for you to look at, and it's pretty inclusive. And you're going to see that by industry and by type of training and education, it varies somewhat, but I think it's fair to say anywhere from 90% at the top with healthcare on down. And also most organizations have 50 to 60% of what we would call mandated training.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Chuck, for adding some insights into that, some stats we put up there for you to consume yourself and just get an idea, wrap your head around mandatory training, mandated training, and how much is involved in that.
So, Denise, as we look at mandated training, it is a wide field. And we're going to have a couple of different videos where we talk about these things. But I think it's important for instructional designers to take into account a number of different things as we look at this very specific design criteria and how we deal with it. So stand by for a little bit more on this as we go down the pike.